I remember the exact second everything broke. The applause was still fading after our daughter Sophia walked across the stage, diploma in hand, bright-eyed and radiant, while my wife Mia leaned toward me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "David," she said quietly, "we need to talk." After this, I nodded, thinking she wanted to discuss the dinner reservations or maybe some emotional moment about our daughter growing up. Instead, as we stood outside in the sunlight, taking photos with family and friends, Mia looked around, waited until her parents and Sophia were distracted, then turned to me with terrifying calm and said, "I'm leaving you. It's time I start living for myself." Just like that. 17 years of marriage collapsed into 7 words. "What the hell are you talking about?" I whispered. She didn't flinch. "Don't make a scene." I looked at her face and realized she meant it. Her expression was rehearsed, cold, surgical. I watched as she walked over to the group of friends she invited, the ones I never liked, and stood beside him. Jason Walsh, her co-worker. I'd seen them together once, too close, and she brushed it off as nothing. Now he was here, grinning like he belonged, with his hand hovering a little too familiar near her back. Sophia looked over, clueless, still beaming. I forced a smile, told her I was proud, took more photos, and played the part while my mind went white hot. At home, Mia was already packing. "I'll be moving in with Jason temporarily," she said, calm like she was telling me she'd ordered takeout. "We've been seeing each other for a few months." "You picked our daughter's graduation to drop this?" I asked. "You wanted it to be humiliating." "It's not about you," she said, slipping her rings into a velvet pouch. "I've given this family everything. I've sacrificed myself long enough." That line. Like I hadn't worked 60-hour weeks. Like I hadn't missed promotions to be home. Like I hadn't noticed the late texts, the extra time at conferences. I said nothing, just watched, and started calculating. Mia didn't know I'd already been suspicious. She didn't know I had a friend in IT who helped me clone her phone a week ago. She didn't know that I'd been watching every text she sent to Jason, every transfer she made from our accounts, every private message where she plotted her new life, and how to strategically time the announcement to make me seem like the angry husband who couldn't let go. She thought I'd break down, that I'd beg. But I wasn't just a husband. I was a systems architect for 3 major cybersecurity firms. I didn't yell. I documented. Over the next few days, I let her think I was crumbling. I let her move into Jason's apartment. I let her bring him to Sophia's celebratory dinner the next weekend, like nothing happened. But I was building my answer. She had forgotten who she married. She'd forgotten how I built our financial infrastructure, how I set up our cloud backups, how I monitored our business assets. We co-owned a small startup, PulseNet, a side project she convinced me to build with her 2 years ago. I handled tech. She handled outreach and social media. She thought she could steal it. I had the server logs, the IP traces, the emails she'd sent Jason where she promised they'd run it together. "Don't worry," she'd typed. "David's not that clever. He never finishes anything." That one stuck with me. I read it about 30 times. So I finished something. I hired a lawyer, quietly, found an IP attorney, and locked down the company's trademarks, moved all admin rights to a new structure, transferred ownership of the code to a separate shell entity I owned outright. Every move I made was logged, legal, precise. Then I waited. Because revenge is best when no one sees it coming. Sophia called me one night, asking if Mom was okay. "She seems weirdly happy. Did something happen?" I lied. "We're just figuring things out." She sighed. "I don't like Jason." I smiled. "Neither do I." A week later, Mia sent a formal proposal for dividing assets. She wanted the house, her half of the investments, full control of PulseNet, and joint custody of Sophia. She CC'd Jason's lawyer. I didn't reply. Instead, I scheduled a meeting. Public, high profile. A VC presentation we'd been preparing for months for a major investor group in San Francisco. She didn't know I'd never removed her from the email list. She thought I'd canceled. She was wrong. 2 nights before the pitch, she sent me one final text. "Let me know when you're ready to sign. There's no reason to drag this out." I replied, "See you soon." She didn't understand what that meant, but she would. The morning of the pitch, I wore my best suit. Not out of vanity, but strategy. Mia and Jason walked into the conference hall 5 minutes before showtime, clearly not expecting to see me. She froze. He smiled like an idiot. David? She said, glancing at the presentation board where PulseNet's logo gleamed under my name alone. What are you doing here? Presenting, I said, stepping onto the stage. You can grab a seat if you want. It's going to be a hell of a show. They sat, or rather, Jason did. Mia stood, arms crossed, expression twitching. The lights dimmed. I delivered the pitch clean, confident, cool. I talked about the product's evolution, our user base, our secure back-end framework. Every chart, every projection was backed by numbers I had meticulously updated the night before. Investors nodded, took notes, asked questions. I answered them like I was reading from the back of my hand. 10 minutes in, Mia started checking her phone. Jason's knee bounced nervously. They hadn't seen the fine print yet. They didn't know what I had done. As a final note, I said, pulling up the last slide, all rights, trademarks, and intellectual property are now held under a new LLC, fully owned by myself, David Morgan. Legal documentation is available in the folder you've been handed. Murmurs, pen scribbling, eyes turning. I stepped off the stage to polite applause and walked past Mia like she was a ghost. Outside in the lobby, she caught up to me. You're insane. You had no right. I had every right, I said quietly. You just weren't watching. You blindsided me. Jason and I tried to cut me out of a company I built line by line, I snapped. You emailed the pitch deck to his Gmail. You sent him user data. You copied design docs into Google Drive. I have it all. Her eyes narrowed. You violated my privacy. No, I said, pulling out my phone. You used our joint assets for personal gain. You shared proprietary code with an outsider. I secured what's mine. This isn't over. Yes, it is. I handed her a flash drive. Here's your copy of the cease and desist. Any further use of the PulseNet brand or IP will result in immediate litigation. I've already filed with the district court. She looked at the USB like it burned her fingers. Jason appeared behind her, face red. You can't do this, man. We had an agreement. I laughed. You had a fantasy. I had paperwork. They left together, whispering frantically. I didn't follow. I went home, made dinner, and called Sophia. She didn't know yet, and I wasn't about to ruin her week. The next day, Mia sent a wall of texts, accusations, threats, then apologies. We can figure this out, she wrote. It doesn't have to be a war. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded everything to my lawyer. The separation proceedings moved faster than expected. Her lawyer was expensive but sloppy. He didn't understand tech. Mine did. And while we're here, if you like how this story's unfolding, you might want to hit that subscribe button. I've got more where this came from. Anyway, a month passed. Mia lost her arbitration claim to regain PulseNet equity. Jason quit his job to pursue opportunities, but they never materialized. My attorney found multiple emails between them planning to incorporate a near-identical company under a new name. The judge ruled it as attempted IP theft. The ruling favored me. Publicly, Mia cried in court. Jason didn't show. That night, I sent her a single message. Check your inbox. She didn't reply, but I know she opened it. The email contained a link, a private folder. Inside, a timeline of her betrayal, backups of every message, every fund transfer, every file leak. Time-stamped, cross-referenced, clean. At the bottom, a single line. You were right. This marriage is over. She never responded. But the next day, Sophia called. Dad, Mom's freaking out. What happened? I paused. She made her choices. She said you hacked her. She said a lot of things. Sophia was quiet. She lied to me. About everything. I didn't want you to be caught in this. Too late, she whispered. I'm just glad I know now. She came over that night, ate pasta in silence, then said, promise me something. What? Never lie to me like that. I won't, I said, ever. She nodded. Good, because I'm not speaking to her until she starts telling the truth. I wanted to say, don't punish her. She's still your mom. But I stayed quiet. Sometimes pain speaks louder than logic. 3 days later, I got an alert on my phone. Jason had removed Mia from a shared account they opened together. Their new life had lasted 6 weeks. She was back at her sister's house. Jason had posted an Instagram story from Vegas. Alone. I poured a drink, sat on my porch, watched the sun burn orange into the horizon and whispered, "Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes." I didn't hear from Mia for nearly a week after that. Then out of nowhere, she showed up at my front door on a Thursday evening, wearing the same "let's talk" face she used during every one of our past arguments. I didn't open right away, just watched her through the peephole as she shifted uncomfortably, looking down at her phone, probably checking how many times I'd read her last 3 messages. Eventually, I opened the door and said nothing. She didn't smile. "Can we talk inside?" "No." Her face twitched. "David, please." "What do you want?" She hesitated. "I'm not here to fight. I didn't expect all of this." "Didn't expect what? Consequences?" She looked down. "I didn't know you had it in you." "That's the problem. You never bothered to know me at all." "Jason left," she said suddenly. "He said I was bad luck." I raised my eyebrows. "He's not wrong." "Don't," she said, voice cracking. "I know I screwed up." I didn't answer. She went on. "I thought we were done. I thought you didn't care anymore. I felt invisible." "So you burned everything instead of using your words." She wiped her cheek. "Can I at least explain?" I stepped outside, closed the door behind me, and stood on the porch with her. "You have 5 minutes." "It wasn't always about Jason," she said. "It started before him. I felt like I was vanishing, like everything I did was for everyone else. You never asked if I was okay." "I asked," I replied. "You just never answered." She winced. "I tried to be strong. I told myself I deserved more. And when Jason started listening, I leaned into it and built a new life behind my back." She didn't deny it. "Yes. You brought him to our daughter's graduation, Mia. You humiliated me in front of everyone." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I thought you wouldn't fight." "You thought wrong." She took a breath. "I want to make it right. Not with Jason. Not with the business. Just with you. With Sophia, you can start by telling her the truth." "I tried," she said, "but she won't answer." "She will, but not until she sees you stop playing the victim." Mia flinched like I'd slapped her. She took a step back. "I deserved that." "Yes," I said. "You did." The next morning, I emailed her lawyer a revised settlement offer. It was merciful, more generous than I had to be. She could keep the car, a portion of the savings, no part of the company, no rights to the IP, no stake in any future profits. It was fair, legal, final. A week later, she signed without protest. The silence afterward felt louder than any argument. I stayed busy. Sophia moved into her first apartment and called me often for help setting up utilities, assembling IKEA shelves, dealing with landlords. I was happy to show up with a toolbox. We didn't talk about Mia much. One night over dinner, Sophia finally said, "She emailed me." I paused. "And?" "She told me she made the biggest mistake of her life." "And you believe her?" Sophia shook her head. "Not yet, but I think she does." We fell quiet. After a while, she added, "You've changed too." "How so?" "You used to walk on eggshells around her. Now you walk like you own the room." "Maybe I just got tired of apologizing for things I didn't break." "I'm proud of you, Dad." That hit harder than anything Mia ever said. I went home that night and sat in the dark for an hour, just processing it. Mia resurfaced again 2 weeks later. She sent a photo of a letter she'd written to Sophia. Said she hadn't mailed it yet. Asked if I wanted to read it first. I didn't reply. It wasn't my place anymore. She needed to stand on her own now. Her fall from grace was quiet but brutal. Word had gotten around. Friends stopped calling. Jason's firm blacklisted her. Her sister, once neutral, refused to take sides but quietly told me she was disappointed. Mia sold her jewelry to cover her legal fees. She moved into a one-bedroom rental in a less-than-ideal neighborhood. I knew because I saw the address on the paperwork. She had gone from polished perfection to polite disgrace. I didn't celebrate it. I didn't pity her either. I just let it happen and kept building. PulseNet landed its first six-figure client that month. My inbox exploded with inquiries. I hired a small team, rented a real office space, built something real without her, without them. And yet part of me couldn't help but remember the nights we used to dream about it together. Back when it was still we, that was the cruelest part. She had the same vision. She just wanted to enjoy the reward without honoring the partnership. One night, I went through the old PulseNet folder, the one with our early mock-ups, logo sketches, budget notes scribbled in her handwriting. I stared at them for a long time, then deleted the folder. Not out of anger, out of necessity. If you let ghosts linger, they build homes in your head. I wasn't renting out space anymore. 3 months later, the final hearing was scheduled. Just a formality. The paperwork was already signed, the agreements locked, the damage long done. Mia arrived wearing a navy blazer and a face that looked 5 years older. I hadn't seen her since that night on the porch. She avoided my eyes until the judge asked if we both acknowledged the terms. "Yes, Your Honor," I said clearly. Mia nodded faintly. "Yes." 15 minutes later, it was over. 17 years reduced to stamps and signatures. We stepped outside the courtroom into a hallway that felt like the inside of a cathedral. Echoes, stillness, finality. Mia turned to me. "I never hated you." I nodded. "That's the problem. You didn't feel anything at all." "That's not true." I looked at her, really looked, for the first time in months. She was hollow, not broken, just emptied out. "Why did you do it?" I asked. Not as an accusation, just curiosity. She exhaled. "I wanted to feel powerful, important, like I wasn't just someone's wife, like I could be the one who left first. But in the end, I just feel stupid." I didn't argue. I didn't comfort her. That part of me had closed like a vault. "Take care of yourself, Mia." "You too." She left first. For once, I didn't look back. That evening, Sophia called me. She dropped off the letter. I read it. I waited. "She told the truth," Sophia said. "For once. She didn't blame you. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She just owned it." "And how do you feel?" "Like I don't know her anymore." "Maybe now you do," I said. Silence. Then, "I'm coming over." We ate ramen and watched reruns of House. Halfway through the second episode, she turned to me and said, "So what now?" "Now," I smiled. "Now we rebuild, brick by brick." PulseNet grew fast. Too fast, honestly. I had to hire a project manager just to handle the influx. Clients kept coming. Press coverage snowballed. Someone called me the comeback architect in a tech blog. I laughed for a full 5 minutes when I saw it. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It wasn't about showing Mia or Jason or anyone else what they lost. It was about finally living without being held back by someone who doubted me. I ran into Jason at a conference 5 months later. He was there repping a company I'd never heard of. He saw me from across the hall, did a double take, and had the audacity to walk up. "Hey," he said, fake casual. "Crazy seeing you here." "Is it?" I replied. "Didn't think you were still in the game." "We pivoted," he said, running a hand through his hair. "Startups die fast. Yours died before it was born." He chuckled, awkward. "No hard feelings, right? You stole my wife. She wasn't happy, man." "No," I said, "but she was still mine." "Did you ever love her?" he asked like it was a joke. I didn't answer, just looked at him. "I guess it doesn't matter now." "It never did to you," I said. "That's the difference." He left before the panel even started. I sat front row, asked every speaker a question, got a dozen cards before lunch. That's how real legacy is built, by showing up long after everyone else ran home. A few nights later, I posted a thread online about what happened. No names, no bitterness, just a story, a man, a marriage, a startup, a betrayal, and a rebirth. It went viral. Thousands of people reached out, some hurt, some healing, some still stuck. "You gave me hope," one message said. "You reminded me I can start over," said another. If you're still listening, if this story meant something to you, maybe hit subscribe. These stories aren't just mine. They're ours. And I've got more to tell. 6 months to the day after our divorce was finalized, I got a letter in the mail. No name. Just a wax seal I hadn't seen in years. It was from Mia. a single page. She thanked me, said she was going back to school, said she had gotten a job, real honest work, and had started therapy. At the bottom in her careful script, she wrote, "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'll be spending every day trying to become the kind of person who could have deserved you." I folded the letter and put it in the back of my desk. Never told anyone. Some things don't need to be shared. They just need to exist. As proof, not of pain, but of evolution. And maybe that's what revenge really is. Not fire, not fury, not destruction, but becoming so whole, so complete, that the people who tried to tear you down can't even find the pieces anymore. Jason took my wife. Mia tried to take my future. But in the end, he lost her. She lost me. And I found myself. The empire they tried to steal, I let it burn. Then I built a better one. Brick by goddamn brick. Without them. And just so we're clear, they'll never catch up.